I know how you take matters seriously, and I know that this parliament is in good hands with you as Deputy Speaker. Madam Speaker, allow me to also take this opportunity to thank the people of Ugenya, who against all odds have stood with me, who against all odds have seen me come back to this parliament, even when everyone thought that I will not come back, even when everyone who cared had written me off, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the people of Ugenya profusely for having faith in me, in being able to champion their agenda, their wishes, aspirations, and their needs at the national level in this parliament. Madam Speaker, we are here to discuss the speech given by the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, on the 29th of September this year. Madam Speaker, there are things that we take for granted. There are things that we think just happen. Madam Speaker, we must thank Kenyans for being peaceful, for being civil, for being mature democratically, Madam Speaker. You know, if you look at what happens in our neighboring countries, Madam Speaker, you'd appreciate the fact that our democracy is growing, the fact that our democracy is maturing, the fact that a time is going to come when elections will just be a matter of course. They will not cause jitters, they will not cause opprobrium, they will not cause panic in the country. Madam Speaker, if you looked at the economy before the elections and now, and if you remember what we have gone through in some times in elections, Madam Speaker, you'd appreciate the fact that the president is recognizing that we've come so far in our democracy is important. What I must say at this point, Mr. Speaker, is that the fact that our democracy is maturing should not be taken for granted. We must continue nurturing it so that the president has promised, and we must keep nudging him as an assembly, that he must run an accountable government, an open government, a transparent government, Mr. Speaker. As in Kenya Kwanza, will ensure that the president carries out his role in a manner that the law requires and in a manner that follows the law. As someone said earlier, Madam Speaker, our president is not one who is averse to criticism. He is not one who wants us to be a choir in this assembly. He is one who has said that he does not have no problem of knowledge. He is one who has said that he wants to share the views of this country, the views of this parliament, to ensure that what the country needs gets into his thinking, interferes with his thoughts, and he has said that this parliament should not be timid. This parliament should not sit back. This parliament should oversight his government accordingly. And I want to invite all of us to take the president's challenge and ensure that he runs a government that responds to the needs of our people. Madam Speaker, number two, most importantly, is the place of education in the growth of our economy. The acceleration does not mean that we throw education out and anything goes. The acceleration means that everybody who has a chance and wants to get education, everyone who wants to get his papers right, everyone wants to grow by ensuring that their children access education, their children get the best quality of education, Mr. Speaker, in this country, Madam Speaker, in this country, is able to get it. That, Madam Speaker, the president wants to run a country based on merit. And so I want to ask all of us not to give up on education. It's a key thing. And that's why when I hear the court saying that anybody can run for governor, that anybody can run for MP, that education doesn't matter, Mr. Speaker, we are sending the wrong signal, Mr. Speaker. And I want to ask all of us to ensure that wherever we come from, education is the only equalizer to anything in this world. If you didn't go to school, Madam Speaker, you won't end anywhere. And so investing in education is something that we must keep talking about, that we must keep doing, that we must ensure that as a country, our best, as the premise of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew had said, that we must be led by the best in our midst. We must be led by people who know what is required in the country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the president talked about investing in agriculture. Our country is agriculture-based. What we must do as a people is to ensure that we become food secure. And how do you do so? Madam Speaker, we must invest at the lowest level of the economy. Everyone who wants to farm should be able to access quality seed, affordable fertilizer, Madam Speaker. If it's avocado, if it is cotton, if it is maize, if it is millet, if it is potato. Let's ensure that everybody who is willing to use his energy, everyone who is willing to use her energy to benefit, to earn a living in this country, Madam Speaker, is supported. And that's why we're going to be requesting, and we're going to ensure this Parliament that we sort out the supply side constraints and the demand side constraints on agriculture. Let's ensure that our people are able to be taught. Let's bring back the extension service officers that used to help us in agriculture. Let's bring back, Madam Speaker, the ensuring that people are able to know the modern methods of farming, modern methods of cooling milk, modern methods of ensuring that our farm produce not going to waste because we don't have storage facilities, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, irrigation is very important for food security and stability, Madam Speaker. The failure of Galana Kulalu is very fresh in our minds. The failure of dams is very fresh in our minds, Madam Speaker. And so we'll be ensuring as an assembly that where money is put in agriculture for irrigation, where money is put to ensure that our people become food secure, as an assembly, we must ensure that the money is used for the right reasons. Corruption should not seep into monies that are meant to benefit our people, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I've heard so many members saying that the president didn't talk about corruption. Madam Speaker, I don't believe that barking at corruption, I don't believe that shouting at corruption makes it go away. The approach adopted by our president that says that will ensure that institutions that are supposed to fight corruption are well-funded, well-resourced, well-equipped, Madam Speaker, better speaks for itself than people in this assembly, in the last parliament, Madam Speaker, and the other one. In the last parliament, the last president brought us here a list of PSS, ministers, Madam Speaker, who he claimed were corrupt. To date, none of them has ever been convicted by the court of law. Madam Speaker, I don't think we should be asking our president to talk about corruption. We should be asking those who have given that job to do by law. There's no law that requires the president to fight corruption. The law is set up in this assembly and in the constitution sets up the EACC. It's the body that fights corruption, not the president. And so the president, what we want from him is to ensure that he doesn't try to stop any prosecution, he doesn't try to stop any investigation. But saying that the president must talk about corruption, I think for me is quite weak. We've had guys who talk about corruption every day. We will fight corruption. We will deal with corruption. But under their noses, people steal and they don't talk about it. And so the approach, in my opinion, by the president to nudge our institutions, and in this issue I want to insist that the DCI, the EACC, and our courts are the ones to blame. They're the ones that we must ensure that as an assembly we put on their toes, not the president. Corruption seeps everywhere in this country, Madam Speaker. Everywhere. Primary schools, nursery schools, everywhere you go is corruption. I don't think the president has 1,000 eyes to be checking how we live. And so fighting corruption is going to be, in my opinion, a concerted effort. All of us must play a role in it, not just saying corruption is bad and when you're found in it, then you say that you're being, witch-hunted, Madam Speaker. We must put the blame where it lies. Madam Speaker, the president proposes a very good project on housing. All we need to do as this assembly is to ensure that, as he has said, if it's doors, they'll be bought in Kisumu if the house is being built in Kisumu. If you're building houses in Kakamega, let the doors, the hinges, the windows be produced in Kisumu, Madam Speaker. Finally, Madam Speaker, this president means well. We cannot pray that he fails, because if he fails, we fail. I want to ask all of us here, the minority and the majority, let's pray for this president to succeed. Let's help him succeed. For if he succeeds, we succeed and the country succeeds. Thank you so much.
Let's go first to the next member. Then. Member for Baringo North.
Thank you,
Give us a
Madam.
minute, just let him finish. And
Thank
then
you, Madam
can-
Speaker. First and foremost, I want to thank God through the people of Baringo North who gave me an opportunity to become a member of parliament on this 13th parliament